Yeah.
Well, now that we shut the door and we don't hearing all that noisy truck traffic, we can hear better. And Chandler is pretty amazing. It's bypassed by the interstate in 52, but during the week we still have a tremendous amount of traffic on Route 66 through downtown, and it's hard to even find a parking place across the street. So it's a little time capsule of how 66 used to be in town. But getting back to the books, so I had the map set successfully sold since 1994. In 2003, my friend David Knudsen, who heads the National Historic Route 66 Federation, called me up and said, "Jerry, the route needs a good guidebook." And I said, okay. Took me 2 years of solid work to develop it, and that's all I did, nothing else. I took one last trip on 66, both directions, before I sat down. I took 3 weeks to do everything, driving all hours of the day, you know, just, I tape recorded my notes. I had over 30 90-minute cassette tapes, and it took me a month to sit down and transcribe them, and I got so tired of my voice after that. But I put the book together, and I'm happy that it's been a success. People call it the Bible of Route 66, which is kind of blasphemous and embarrassing, but that's okay. It's let me meet people from all around the world. Jim Ross and his wife Shelley and I also did a book, Route 66 Sightings. We self-published it, sold the first run, did another print run, and we're almost out of that. And I'm thinking that's where we'll leave it, because it's been a very successful book. Of our photos and writing about our favorite Route 66 pictures, mine go back to 1981. And it's just amazing the amount of creative, enthusiastic, amazing people I've met on Route 66. I started out doing it by myself with no connections to others, just driving it for myself and taking my photos. And then in the 90s, I started meeting other people, joining associations. I am a board member of the Oklahoma Route 66 Association. I'm the Lincoln County representative, and we do things. We go to events and publicize Route 66. We have cleanup days. We're working on many different projects. We publish every year a trip guide to Oklahoma Route 66. Every state has an association that's working to promote it and publicize it. It's exciting.
So Route 66 has a big international appeal. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, as an example of the importance of the international traveler is to Route 66. In 2020, with the COVID, I forgot what they call that pandemic. Okay, in 2020, with the COVID pandemic, which hit right at the start of tourist season, all of a sudden, we had no international travel at all on Route 66 that year. Normally, I would have had like one Australian tour guide bring 3 or 4 groups that year. Plus, I would have people from New Zealand and from all over Europe and from Asia, people in tours or people individually. None of them. It cut Route 66 tourism by more than half, because we lost a lot of American tourists too. Everybody along Route 66 suffered because of that. And we're hoping that this year, in the summer of 2021, that they'll be able to start returning. But it's a huge influence on Route 66. Towns like Seligman, they live basically on the international tourists. You can go to Seligman, like if you stay overnight, and early in the morning, it's calm and peaceful. The streets are empty. The store owners are out washing their driveways down, and you can take photos of all the buildings and maybe talk to angels sitting out there quietly. And then it's like a switch is turned. All these tour buses from like Las Vegas and stuff just pile in there and double park, and you're trying to take a picture of the snow cap, and all of a sudden here's a bus in front of it. And the town is instantly tripled in population or more, you know, because here's all these Japanese tourists and Chinese tourists and European tourists, and they just swarm into town. Oatland is much the same way. But we love meeting people from all over the world. I've got in my next room a wall with money from other countries. And it's just amazing. They're super excited to be in the United States. They're excited to be on Route 66. Some of them come because they like our music, like the old rockabilly music and rock and roll. Some of them like the Old West. Some of them just wanted to drive in America, and then they found Route 66 and doing Google searches, and they realized, oh, here's a road that has convenient maps and guidebooks, and we can follow that. And we can go to Grand Canyon. We can take a side trip to Monument Valley. They can go a side trip to Las Vegas. They can end up in Hollywood. So it connects all the cool stuff they want to see. They just, some days on 66, most of the people you see will be from another country. Bikers from Northern Europe coming through in just huge swarms of bikes. They often rent bikes. Sometimes people will ship their own bikes or their own cars. We've had people in, what is that? Fiat Panda. I think we've had people in Morgans. We've had people, it's like a car show. You have the American classics coming through all the time. And I'm always excited when somebody comes up and they're in like a 52 DeSoto or some type of other cool car, you know. It's a kick.